So thanks for joining today for the PlanQuest EHS case study webinar, where Ger will be bringing you through how one of Europe's leading life science facilities has adopted PlanQuest and is transforming both EHS and alarm response workflows. Throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, want any more clarification on anything, throw it into the comments on LinkedIn, and I'll raise it to Ger throughout the webinar, or at the end of the webinar, we're going to have an interactive Q&A session, so we'll be able to have a good discussion there as well. So I suppose over to you, Ger, to take it away.
Okay. As Kevin said, before we begin, just be sure to drop any comments into LinkedIn, and we can address them as we go, or we can get them at the end. So today's agenda is quite simple. There's going to be 5 parts. First is going to be an overview of PlanQuest, who we are, what we do. We'll talk about the case study itself. We'll talk about the key wins that our client has experienced within the case study. And we'll have a demo of PlanQuest, and then we'll have a Q&A. Just before we start, a little bit about myself. My own background was in automation, instrumentation. I've worked in a lot of mission critical facilities in the pharma, biomedical, semiconductor, and oil and gas. And in each facility I worked in, I was a core member of the emergency response team, backed up by the EHS team. So the genesis of this product came from my own lived experience responding to alarms and incidents within mission critical facilities like the ones that you're responsible for. So PlanQuest started about 4 years ago. It really started with me and some of my colleagues saying, wouldn't it be great if we could just type in the address or the name of an asset and navigate to it, be it an alarm, a room, an incident, just like Google Maps. We wanted the digital experience we had outside of work, inside work. So that's what we developed. And since then, it's been adopted by a number of tier 1 life science organizations. One core piece of feedback that we got from our clients was they wanted this solution to be applicable across their whole portfolio of real estate. So that's everything from the very old to the very new and everything in between, because most of the world is already built and they want to digitize what's already built. So it's optimized, what we call, for the brownfield. So essentially, what does it do? Is it gives you the information you need in a manner that's accessible. So gone are the days where you're leafing through 200-300 A3 drawings, or you're calling people on the phone in the middle of the night trying to find out where a certain alarm or location is. This really is as simple as type in the asset ID or the room ID, and it brings you straight to it. So essentially what we're doing is we're contextualizing the information that your automation systems or your EHS systems are giving to you. The navigation piece that we built is specifically built to be cost effective, in that it doesn't need any extra hardware to be installed within your facility. We'll show you that in a minute. And the final piece then that we wanted to build into this was the integratability. We're an open architecture organization, so we can integrate with your documentation systems, your calibration systems, your fire alarm systems, your gas systems, all of that, kind of to bring this visual and geolocation context to all of your systems. So the facility we're going to talk about today, it's Europe's largest oral solid dose facility. It's about 30 years old, 100,000 square meters. It's an old style facility, so lots of rooms. It's not the typical ballroom style biopharma production facilities you see now. 1,700 rooms. You can see there's 6,000 fire and smoke detection devices and gas detection devices across the site. So very, very, very asset dense from an emergency perspective, and lots of complexity in the navigation of all these rooms when an incident takes place. The main incidents, the main issues and inefficiencies experienced. So first of all is, where is this alarm? What is this alarm? How do I get to this alarm? Once I get to this alarm, where's the safety equipment I need? It could be a shower, eye wash, particular type of extinguisher, diphoterine. And then going forward then into other EHS, it's okay, where's all our permits that have been issued for today? And then further again, it's the onboarding and training, and it's taking that tacit knowledge out of people's heads, and it's onboarding staff a lot quicker. Just to talk about the alarm identification, some of our clients, what they've experienced is a complete lack of their staff members being able to interpret some of the drawings being old. And as you have new workers coming on, they are demanding a more digital native platform for them to work in. So the key wins that our clients has experienced is they were having in around two to three partial or full evacuations per month, mostly partial evacuations, because once an alarm was triggered, if they can't get to the alarm within 15 minutes, everybody's outside until they find it. So in the 2.5 years since they've taken on PlanQuest, they've had 0 of evacuations for this reason. So every alarm and every notification has been addressed in the 15-minute window. So you can see above there, average alarm response time has gone from 19 minutes down to 8 minutes. That's a 50% reduction. Obviously, safety has improved because of that. Workers are a lot more informed. EHS equipment is being inspected, and actually inspected this time rather than just assumed or ticked off as being inspected. And as I alluded to a minute ago, training has been revolutionized. So they're onboarding ERT team members 50% quicker than previously, because there's a tool here and the exercises built in that PlanQuest allows them to really expedite that training. You can see a quote there. So PlanQuest has transformed our response times as is integral to my role. So that's the ERT team lead for that particular site, and we have a good relationship with that site. So if anybody does want to have a word with that ERT lead and EHS lead on that site, we're more than happy to facilitate an introduction there. So now we're going to go into a quick demo. So if you just give me 1 second, thank you. So what you can see here now is this is our dummy site in PlanQuest. So there's a few ways you can interact with the system. So in its most simple terms, what you would do is you would say, okay, I'm looking for a particular asset or tag. So you would say, I'm looking for L9/138. We have an alarm on this asset. And what we can see here is we can see the exact location of the alarm. We can see it's on the 2nd floor. We can see the exact location of it. And, that gives you a lot of information. It also gives you an image of the asset as well. So you can see that's your smoke detector. So you can actually capture these images. So that's giving extra information to your team before they head out. You can also search for a particular room. So if I take the same room again, I can type that in there, and you can see this is the plant room. You can see all the information here on the left on your plant room also. And you can see images of said plant room as well. So again, what PlanQuest is about giving the most information and surfacing it to workers in the most efficient way. What we also do in PlanQuest is we have dynamic filtering. So these filters that you can see here are applicable to all of your site, and they're completely configurable. So if we were looking at building 3 or utilities and we wanted to see all of our smoke detectors in that building, so if I hit go there, so you can see that there are 16 assets within this facility, and you can see all the tags there. And I think I've been working on I've been actually working on a work pack here. So what you can do here is you can actually build work packs. So if you have a vendor coming to site, you can click on assets to add or to remove to your work pack, and you can save, you can share, you can upload that. You can also add, let's say you want to add in the permit to work office. So that's our permit to work office there. And again, I can open up my work pack. So if I have a vendor coming to site, I can save all this, I can print it to a PDF, I can include it in an email, and all that information is going to my vendor before they even come to site. Final piece that I want to show you on the PlanQuest front end here is our layering system. So within PlanQuest, you're able to add attributes or values to every room or area within your plant. So very handy for training and just visualizing different types of scenarios. So here you can see we've identified all the ATEX areas within your plant. You can see all your plant rooms, your meeting rooms, and you can layer these out as you wish. And you can also do the same for emergency equipment. So if we want to see all of our defibrillators across the site, so you can see there, again, you can list them all down along there. You can potentially see an image of the defibs as well. You can see our muster points layered on top of that again. And you can see that there's specific iconography that can be assigned to every type of asset within the system as well. One of our good customers is using this now, as I mentioned earlier, to visualize all their permits across the site, which they're finding is very good for getting a context of exactly what's happening in the site from an EHS perspective for the day, and they're using it in their morning planning meetings with the site leadership team. It gives them that holistic top-down view in a way that can be deployed very quickly. Typical deployment of PlanQuest is about 5 to 6 weeks. Moving on from that, then we have a management portal. So this is how you actually manage all your assets within PlanQuest. You can see there's 2,700 assets here. And from here, you can manage all your users, your devices, your maps, your audit trail. So you can see any changes that have happened. There's a lot to go through in this management section. And I think we're caught for time today. So if anyone does want a more in-depth demo of how this would apply to your site, both the web app and the portal here, we can take a deep dive into it. I'll just move on to our mobile application now. So this is what your workers would essentially be bringing out into the field. So in the field, you would take this tablet with you and you would navigate from your current location to the location of the alarm or the device or the room that you're looking for. So you can see the interface here, very familiar to a standard navigation application. So you would say, okay, I'm at the reception. And you would say, okay, I'm going to go to a particular asset. So we pick the asset that we chose earlier for continuity. And L9138. Sorry about that. So that's you can see it's completely scrollable as well. And the first thing that surfaced to you is, I mentioned it earlier, that you can add classifications and rules to any of your assets, any of your areas within your site. So you can see straight away before you head out here that you need PPE, a permit to work, confined space, and hearing protection. So you can imagine how much context this is given to your workers or to your team before they actually go out. It could also be that be careful there's CO2 or CH4 could be present in this room. So very useful information. So going back to the map now, you can see the blue dot is where you are. And this is the icon for your smoke detector, a very familiar icon. Now, if you've been working in the site long enough, you might have enough context here to actually go. But if not, you can see on the left-hand side, this route contains multiple levels. You're going from level 0 to level 1. So we hit stage 1, follow route towards the stairs, and proceed to level 1. So you can see it brings you straight to your stairs. There's also turn-by-turn directions here, if you could be so inclined to use them. And once you get to your stairs, then you say, okay, see stage 2. So stage 2 brings you straight to your alarming detector. Once you get there, then we have a pop-up panel here, so it'll give you information on the particular asset that you're looking at. It could give you a hyperlink to another system also, but lots of useful information here. And the final piece of the puzzle is once you get there and you realize that there is an incident occurring, you can say, okay, I need a foam extinguisher. So what we do here is we show you the primary route to your detector still, but we also show you your secondary route to your extinguisher. It could be an eye wash you're looking for. You're getting the picture here. So what we're doing here actually is we're showing you the optimal route to your incident and also to your alarm. final piece that I'm going to show you here then is how to optimize specific workflows around multiple assets. So if we want to create a line walk or visit a group of assets from an EHS perspective, so it's fully, again, you can fully filter by system, subsystem, discipline, and it's fully customizable. So if we just pick defibrillators, so you can see the selection of assets that we have here. So we want to do an inspection on a number of defibrillators. So you simply select the defibs that you want to visit, and you can see them being gathered here on the left-hand side. So if we save and exit to map, and we'll call it demo inspect, and company will be ourselves as PlantQuest, and I will be the technician today. So we save then, and we go back to our map. And what you do here, you can see the map of your site again. You give it your starting point, so we'll say we're at the Permit to Workstation. And then what we want to know then is, do you want to navigate in the order you put them in, or do you want us to optimize it for you? So there's a number of time savings coming in here. So first of all, you're not having to actually gather the drawings of the locations of all these defibrillators. And next, you're not even having to consider, okay, what's the most optimal way to get around the site to visit these? So there's a huge time saving here that our clients are experiencing when doing inspections like this or like Gemba walks. So if I say yes, we'll optimize it, and on the left-hand side, you'll see the order changing. So once it's identified the optimal route, that order will change. And then you go from your first location, which is your Permit to Workstation, to your first defib. And then you hit next, it goes from your first defib to your second defib, second to the third to the fourth, etc. Again, huge time savings to be found here when doing complex asset inspections. So that's the extent of our demo today. If you do want a more in-depth look at the product itself, be sure to drop me an email. I'll have a slide up with my details afterwards. We'll just jump back in here now. So this is a great graphic that we created that really explains what PlantQuest is. So at the core of every PlantQuest deployment is a map of the facility. So on top of that, then you can see a second layer here, and this is what we call the configuration layer. So this is where all your information is pulled together. So this could be APIs pulling in asset information, asset location information from our own backend systems. There's a business rules navigation engine that sits at the core of it that allows you to configure this for your specific EHS needs and rules. That's everything that you can see that we showed you previously about surfacing information on particular rooms, on particular types of assets, navigation rules around do not navigate through a clean room or navigate through a clean room in case of an emergency. So all that can be set. And beside that, then we have the database, which allows you to add your own context to it. So that's images, videos, notes. Sitting on top of that, then you have your application layer, and the main application we're looking at today is Fire and ERT, and it's both training and familiarization. Beyond that, then there's Permit to Work visualization, which would be quite pertinent to EHS, and one that I'm working on personally myself at the moment is isolations, and it's the identification and the location of isolation points and building a workflow around isolation on, off, open, closed, and visualizing that across the whole scope of your site. So feel free to drop any notes or comments into LinkedIn, and we'll answer here. Anything we can't answer, we'll get back to you. My own email address is ger@plantquest.com, and our website is there also. Please feel free to drop me an email at any stage if you want to have a discussion around how this would look in your site. Krevin, I'll invite you back in there. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, so we had a couple of questions before today's webinar. I think they all kind of come down into one, and what's the implementation process and what would a client need to give PlanQuest in order to get a system like you've shown us today into place?
Yeah, that's a great question. I suppose looking at the deployment we're talking about today, that was again about 100,000 square meters of a site, so a pretty big site, but by no means the biggest one we've done. And between rooms and assets, there was around 7,500. That took about 6 weeks. And what the client provided us was they provided us the architectural layout drawings, so one for each level or just their buildings. They normally exist quite easily accessed in the drawing management system, and then the layout drawings for their fire system. Again, because it's a regulated system, they normally exist. They have to be kept. So all that is sent to us. We make an initial assessment, and then we have a discussion with the client then around how they want to go about implementing it. Normally, the implementation takes around, as I said, around 5 to 6 weeks, and that includes the deployment of the web app and the mobile application within the site. In terms of getting asset information in, so as I said, we get them from their CAD drawings, from their BIM, from their PDF drawings. We even have workflows built around extracting information from paper drawings using object character recognition. So we're quite advanced that way, and I would be quite proud to say that we're specialists at dealing with old, dated, and complex drawings, and really bring them into a new system like you're seeing here today.
Excellent. One other question, there's a bit of a delay between here and LinkedIn, so there may be a couple of delays and questions coming through. One other question then was integrations, kind of how does PlanQuest integrate? What can PlanQuest integrate with?
So PlanQuest can integrate, as I said, we have an open API. So we can integrate. We have integrated with one of the largest maintenance management systems that's deployed in about 50% of the world's tier 1 pharmaceutical plants. We can integrate with fire systems, BMS systems. Any kind of IO based system really is the sweet spot for us. So fire, gas, EMS, BMS. PLC-based systems is really the sweet spot for us, and that's about really bringing alarms and notifications coming from disparate systems where there is no visual context into PlanQuest, where it can be surfaced to people in the context of the site.
Excellent. Just while we wait for a couple more questions to come in there with the delay, we'll be sending the webinar to everyone after as well if you would like to share this with any of your colleagues or to watch it back. I don't know, Ger, have you got any questions on your end? Just waiting for a couple more here to come through. There's a bit of a delay.
No, I think that's probably it for today, Craven. I'm sure a few more might come in, and we can always include them in the webinar when we send it out.
Yeah, we'll hold on here for another couple of minutes just in case anyone's trying to catch up on the stream.
Perfect.